Orcs are dogs. 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 Hello, I'm your host, John Frankie Kennedy. I love riding the bus to go to Games Workshop to buy some sweet Eldar. I'm so glad you've joined me today. Welcome to Orcs are Dogs, a podcast dedicated to Warhammer 40k. Here we'll be loving the Eldari, dunking on orcs, and sharing some of our favourite bits of 19th century US politics. Who said learning can't be fun? Now on with the show. Jokes about orcs. An orc, an Eldari, and a Tyranid were all lost in the void. They found an Imperial relic and rubbed it. An ethereal space marine popped out and granted them each one wish. The Eldari wished to be back on their craft world. Poof! They are back home. The Tyranid wished to be back with their hive fleet. Poof! They're back in the hive. The orc said, "Aw, I wish my friends were here." Two orcs fell down a hole. One said, "It's dark in here, isn't it?" The other replied, "I don't know, I can't see." Three orcs walk into a building. You'd think one of them would have seen it. An orc picks up a grenade and throws it at you. What do? You pick it back up, pull the pin, and throw it back. Knock knock. Who's there? Orc. Orc who? Orc, you answer the door to strangers?
Boo! You suck! Get off the stage! Get off!
19th century US politics. In 150 years, the headline politicians today, your Boris Johnsons, your Bidens, your Jacinda Ardens, your Kamala Harrises, will be remembered. But what are those toiling on the coalface of politics day to day? Your local parish councillors like Maria Clutterbuck and Brian Edge, your trusty local MPs like Siobhan Bailey or Alex Chalk. Them and their words could be lost, like a helium balloon in a wind tunnel. It's too soon for us to address their place in history, but here on Orcs are Dorks, we want to highlight some of the words of forgotten 19th century politicians. So here is a small excerpt from a speech of April the 1st, 1884 by the Honourable Eli Salisbury of Delaware to the US Senate. Mr. President, if there are no other objections than one I have just named, I believe that there is a sufficient objection to justify the rejection of this bill. But I hold that that is not the only objection. If Congress possesses the constitutional power to appropriate money from educational purposes, follows, as I believe logically and conclusively, that Congress may follow that money and direct its application. I firmly believe that if Congress can constitutionally appropriate money for the purposes of aiding the schools in the states of the Union, may appropriate money for the purpose of establishing a federal system of education in the states independent of the states themselves. Does not Congress now follow the money which is appropriate to various objects? When a public building is erected in any of the states of the Union, does not the federal government expend the money? When Congress appropriates money to rivers and harbours, who is it that superintends the expenditure of that money? The federal authority? If Congress can appropriate constitutionally money for educational purposes, Congress will have the power, as I believe, to follow that money and direct its application either to the common schools already existing in the states or to the establishment of an independent federal system of education in all the states of the Union. I do not believe that any such power resides in Congress over the subject of education. Therefore, I do not believe that any such power exists in Congress to make this appropriation. If the one can be constitutionally done, I hold that the other can be. I do not say they would be wise or proper in the federal government to attempt to follow the money if we make the appropriation. I am not speaking upon the question of the propriety of doing it. I'm only speaking of the right of Congress to follow the money which it appropriates, if it can appropriate it constitutionally. Learn your alphabet with Warhammer 40,000.
A is for Eldari.
Eldari are aliens. Eldari are ancient. Eldari are amazing psychics. Eldari's immorality led to the birth of Slaanesh, she who thirsts. The Eldari were annihilated. The Eldari have 5 major subcultures: Asuriana, the Drukhari, the Harlequins, the Exodites, and the Inari. Eldari anatomy is humanoid, but taller, with longer, cleaner limbs. Eldari are attractive. Eldari are agile and poised. Eldari are aged, living to over 1,000 Terran years. Eldari actuate machines with their minds. Eldari are accomplished. Eldari are amazing. Dorky Orc Corner. Now, some of our listeners out there may think we're a tad harsh on orcs here at Orcs or Dorks. So, in the spirit of cooperation and mutual love for Warhammer 40,000, we've allowed Mike Salonga, or at Orky Mike as he is on Twitter, to have his say. He's decided to do it in a rap form, and that's presented here without further comment. Orcs is sweet. Orcs, they is cool. Orcs are the best. You think not, you fool. Orcs so sexy. Orcs, they are sweet. Orcs, they make me beat my meat. Hi, John Frankie Kennedy here, jumping in. I know we're going to broadcast that without any comment, but having now listened to it, it's really not suitable for the audience we hope are listening to this podcast. And I have to say that's typical from orcs, what you'd expect from them, filth just like that. So Mike, if you're out there, if you'd like to come back next month with something more appropriate to show your love for orcs, please try and keep it non-sexual. You'll be more than welcome to try again. Once again, apologies to anyone out there who was offended by the content of that, and believe me, what you didn't hear was much, much worse. Who would win? I was fortunate to spend a short amount of time with the foremost professor of Warhammerology, Dr. Hendelmeister von Burbeck, over the holiday period in his Bavarian ski lodge, and naturally our conversations moved to the intellectual and esoteric, some of which he has been gracious enough to allow me to share with you via this podcast. We talked about his thoughts on the outcomes of various engagements between an Eldar Death Squad and other factions. This week, in honour of our name, we were broadcasting his thoughts on who would win in a battle between an Eldar Death Squad and the entire Orc cast of the Lord of the Rings trilogy, the extended edition.
Eldar Death Squad? Absolutely, obviously Eldar Death Squad.
End of the show! And that's our inaugural episode over. I hope you enjoyed it. It's early days, so I'm still ironing out the creases at the moment, but I'd love to get your feedback. Hit me up at JohnLoves40k on Twitter, that's John with a John, or email me at jfk@orcsrdorks.co.uk. Maybe you want to be involved in a future show. No matter what, thank you once again for listening, and join me, John Frankie Kennedy, next month for more reasons why orcs are dorks. Orcs are dogs. Orcs are dogs. Orcs are dogs. This podcast was written, produced and presented by John Frankie Kennedy, with thanks to Mike Salonga and James Crawley. If you'd like more information on the music used during this podcast, please visit our website www.orcsrdorks.co.uk. Thank you.